What is up, Argo Knots? This is D-Rec here with Alliance Rift Gaming Outlet, and I'm bringing you part 2 of our first rival feature segment video on this channel. And if you don't recall from last video, in this feature match, we have Bailey Haapanen playing against Bart Andreoli. So if you guys do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you enjoy all of my content, or a good majority of it, be sure to subscribe for future content. We have an event coming up at the beginning of December for Alter Reality Games in Hartford, Connecticut. So I'll be doing coverage of that. And I'll probably do a couple like surprise spoofs of a few other teams in the area. So stay on the lookout for that as well. And without further ado, let's get right into Game 2. So Bailey Haapanen is still playing the ZTB engine for Chronojet, and Bart is playing, I think, the Claret engine for Luard. So playing it that way, right off the bat, Bailey Haapanen swings for turn 2 and gets the defensive crit off on Bart Andreoli. Bart Andreoli goes into his grade 2 turn, rides 10k, and swings immediately for 1 damage. And unfortunately, Bailey Haapanen has to G assist for turn 4, but his hand is still pretty substantial, so him being able to do a few plays later on shouldn't be too difficult, but over the course of the game, you never know what could happen. Do offensive critical triggers here, get sacks, game over, man. So Bailey finishes his G assist. He's just gonna swing right, or not. No, he's going to call another. He's going to call out the stride fodder. Search out Chronojet by pitching the serpent thing that counter charges for you. So again, like I said, this isn't this is still pre-GBT12, so it's missing a few very key cards like Duplex Dragon and Spearhead Unicorn. So just take that with a grain of salt as you watch the video. Yeah, obviously there'll be a ton of better plays that can be made here with a few extra key techs from the new set, but like I said, Bart Andreoli going into his turn, he's going to stay at grade 2 and he's going to call Abyssal Owl and go for the Luard search and fails it, unfortunately. Deals 2 damage to Bailey Haapanen and then passes the turn, so now it's 2-3 with Bart in the lead. Bailey's going to stay at grade 2 as well and tie the game up at 3-3. Neither of them rode, so either of them could both go into their grade 3 turns and then CVs if they wanted to. So Bart's going to go into Luard, and it looks like he's going to Sea Breeze. And since he has the extra counter blast, he's going to be able to use Luard's Stride Break. He's going to retire Abyssal Owl for the cost of Luard's Stride Break. He's going to call 1 Swordbreaker and going to call an Ezra's. So not sure what the Ezra's choice there, but he's going to Soul Blast 1 for Ezra's. Now I see why he Soul Blast the Ezra's that he wrote earlier, and now he's going to call over it to get the extra draw off. So it's an alright +1. He's going to call he's going to call a Swinging Hitting Column for a 10k there with the 2 10ks at the front row. And no offensive triggers there from Bart. And then the last attack for 10k guard, and it's going to get 10k guarded with Slash Dog. Arguably the best card in Gears right now. Slash Dog, too good. Slash Doge. So now Bailey's going into his first stride turn, and since he can access all of his stride deck now, there's a ton of first stride options he can go into. You got Avenir Phoenix, you got Split Pegasus, and then if you really want to, you can always go Alter Dragon, but in this case he had the Stride Fodder, so it's kind of one of those situations where you don't have it, and you want to just be able to pitch any stride. So it looks like he's going into Avenir Phoenix first stride, so he's going to Time Leap Duran with Jet G Stride Break. He's going to get a Jet G on rear guard and the boost draw card dude. That name escapes me. I don't know. I don't remember his name. And he's gonna call 2 more. Oh my god, yo, he's going deep. into the draw power, swinging for 14k at the opponent's Vanguard. He's going to be able to get a +3 just from drawing. And he's going to swing Avenir Phoenix. I think he forgot the draw there. Yeah, it looks like that he forgot the draw from the grade 1. He's going to get the offensive crit and give it to Chrono Doge over there on the right, and then he's going to get another one and give it to the Chronojet on the left. But I still can't believe he forgot to do the draw for the first attack. That's surprising. So just a misplay there, but you know, that won't affect his ability to continue on through the game. He's going to swing with Jet G with a boost. He's going to get G guarded. I don't believe he's at Ritual, so it's just going to be 26, so it's 23. And then he's going to get Jet back to hand, and that will be the end of the turn there for Bailey. Bart going into his first official stride turn. Not really counts degrees because, you know, it's like pseudo stride outside of normal stride opportunity. So he's out, 2 face up. You go into pretty much anything that requires GB2 now. So Spectral Blaster, stuff like that. Or you go into, what do you call it? Doom. He's got the 2 rear reds you could poke right there. Carnivore. I don't think you can go Drag Driver, but status. So he's going to go Carnivore. He's going to retire David for the cost of Strike Break. He's going to call an Ezra's and a Belial. So, same old strat. Somehow kill the Ezra's, and then use the Ezra's and drop to kill Belial and draw an additional card. Get another PG to hand. Just very plussing like that. So then Bailey's going to retire the only 2 you can retire off of Carnivore and PG the Vanguard attack. And again, no offensive triggers from Bart Andreoli here. He's going to get 10k guard on the last attack, and Bailey's going to go into his next stride turn here. So now that he's at GB2, he could definitely go next stage. He could definitely go Gear Next if he wanted to. And then a few other things. You go another Avenir Phoenix just to get his board back. I'm not sure if he plays 4 copies of that, but I believe he might have G assisted it earlier, so that's probably not an option anymore. So he's probably going to go into next stage. Solid choice. You know, his opponent's at 4 damage. He has a decent amount of cards in hand. It's a good way to whittle him a little bit, and then stack up a rear guard column for pretty big numbers, just in trigger checks. He's going to call Serpent. He's going to call Rewind Tiger, and then get that off, draw an additional card. So he's going to call the grade 1 for the draw, and he's going to call another Chrono Doge, and swing Vanguard first. Now I believe he plays stand triggers, so, or I'm not sure. I think he plays either 12 crit or 2 stand. Well, in this event, you know, I got the critical trigger, gave it all to Doge this time around. He's going to discard normals instead of his trigger, so he has the guard option for next turn. He's going to swing Vanguard for 21 at the Vanguard. And an additional critical trigger there. So he's going to give it the power to Rewind Tiger this time. It's going to be a 10k guard there, and then an additional 10k guard there. So, Bart Andreoli going into his next stride turn. He did get tanked a little bit in terms of guard resources, so, but, yeah. Aside from the fact that he can basically stride for free. Not basically, literally stride for free. Without having to drop any cards from his hand. Not too much of a concern there. He's going to go into Drag Driver Luard. He only has 1 face up, so he's only going to be able to get the 1, grade 1 from deck, and I don't think it's going to get that much power. I think it's going to be an 4 or 5,000 power. Nothing too crazy there. So he's going to get the 1 call. He's going to call it in front of... No, he's not going to call in front of Swordbreaker. He's going to leave it in its own column. He's going to use Ezra's ability to retire Swordbreaker, get another copy to his hand, and he's checking for Belial Owls. him not being a ritual very first stride and going into his Belial Owls that hardcore is kinda hurtful, especially since you can't put them back and give yourself better probabilities of trigger checking. But the ability to just keep refetching Ezra's is really key, especially in decks against now like Battle Sisters, where you can basically only use your PGs to stop attacks. Having G-guards G-guards and zeros is kind of unnecessary for that matchup, so being able to get PGs like every other day of the week is like the best thing you can possibly do. So Bart Andreoli dealt no damage to Bailey Haapanen that last turn there, and was only able to get the intercept off on the attack on Chrono Doge. So now Bailey's going into his next stride turn. He's going to go into Split Pegasus, or not Split Pegasus, Alter Dragon. He's going to bind stride Spin Serpent from hand. So, not sure what he's going to do there. So he's going to flip Split Pegasus for Pulsar Alter Dragon's skill. You're going to get to bind some cards and then get plus 2 or 3,000, I think it's 3,000 power, for every bound card in your bind zone. So he's going to get an additional plus 12. Really good for power, and especially if you know your opponent doesn't have the PG, or if you're trying to force the PG as bait. Really good bait card for a lot of different decks, especially like, you know, Blasters when they can get it. Actually, Blasters really can't fetch PGs, so that's kind of not a good point. I think really Luard is a better option for that one, or the Mirror, especially the Mirror, because you can bind an Arca and another thing to get an Arca from drop back to hand. Good way to, you know, just fetch, just poke for that and get the just bait it out. So he's gonna swing rear end first, then rear at rear, and then rear at other rear. And this time he's going to hit. Last time we guarded the Morfessa column, so want to save good old Morfessa. Returning a David and a Abyssal Owl to the deck for the cost of stride this turn. He's lacking on Counterblast here, so not sure what he's going to do. He's going to go into Phantom Blaster Diablo, and because there's really no way to countercharge without retiring something on your turn. He's going to have to go vanilla with Phantom Blaster this time around, which kind of sucks. I'm not sure what I'm not sure how many face-up cards Bart has in his G zone at this current moment in time. I'm not sure if he's at GB8 yet. It wouldn't really matter if he was at GB8. But one of the big reasons why the Diablo engine was so much more preferred before set 10 came out, when you had Belial and all that stuff, was because Luard lacked a consistent countercharge engine and soul management engine, because you had the only good strat you could go into at the time was Drag Driver and Spectral Blaster, and then you had Phantom Blaster too. But those are the two like big soul eating cards, and you had no way to soul charge without using the draw trigger. It was the only way you could soul charge, and a lot of people were trying to play the 12 crit, and then they just played Hole and Kaiden for the soul charge, counter charge aspect. And then you can get some pretty decent power with that, but after Belial came out, Grozny was just the preferred way to go with trying to get massive columns, just because you could fetch anything and do that. So now Bailey's going into his next stride turn, and he's going into Gear Groovy. I'm not sure if people still play Groovy after next comes out, but maybe, not sure. Some builds might. So he's going to flip up 2, 1 for Groovy for the pluses, and then 1 for the skill to copy. So that's going to be some Migum's number right there. I think it's actually, I only think it's 26 right now. Or 27, because he has the Split Pegasus face up. So 27 at Bart Andreoli's Vanguard there. And that's going to be pretty huge when he goes back into Jet G. So we know Bart Andreoli has the PGA recycle from the previous turn there. He's probably going to drop that for the first attack there. So he's going to G-Guard instead. He's going to save the PG. And G-Guard for 36 to 27. That's going to be 3 to pass. And no pass on Bailey Haapanen. So first check critical trigger, second check nothing, third check critical trigger, both effects to both front row rear guards there. So that's going to make them instantly over 21k. Yeah, attack again. I think it's for 36 or 41 this time. And the double crit for game. So Bailey Haapanen takes game 2 of this match. We'll have match 3 up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. And until then, this was D-Rec with Alliance Rift. Peace out, Argonauts.